As times change, so do our gaming preferences, which is why every few years it's good to dust off your top 10 lists and update them where need be. COGconnected's top 10 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games list as of 2016 may shell-shock some longtime fans as we shake things up after revisiting the classics. Number 10. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan. Okay, so the latest licensed offering from Platinum Games is not their best work, but what it does offer TMNT fans is some really awesome art with great animations, rad takes on fan-favorite characters, and slick combo-fueled gameplay, all of it playable online with 3 friends. Number 9. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 The Manhattan Project. Building off the NES port of TMNT the arcade game, the Manhattan Project offered fans an all-new original game, with added signature moves for each of the 4 turtles, a new shoulder throw, as well as a welcome boost in difficulty. The Manhattan Project earns its place on the list as one of the best beat-em-ups on the NES. Number 8. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan. The first portable TMNT game outside of the mostly crappy Tiger Electronics games, Fall of the Foot Clan was a huge jump in quality for the handheld gaming fans. It released for the Game Boy in 1990 and still holds up as an impressive action title, especially given the hardware limitations. Number 7. TMNT Tournament Fighters on the Super Nintendo. Tournament Fighters doesn't get as much love as it deserves, which isn't hard to believe when you factor in that players across Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and the NES received vastly different versions of the game, resulting in wildly diverse opinions. Genesis fans admittedly got the shaft here as the Super NES version of Tournament Fighters not only played a heck of a lot better, feeling closer to Street Fighter II, but it looked and sounded much better as well. Number 6. TMNT for the Game Boy Advance. Developed by Ubisoft Montreal and based on the 2007 CGI film of the same name, TMNT on the Game Boy Advance is a rock-solid brawler. But beware of the Xbox 360, GameCube, Wii, etc. versions, as they are quite simply put, hot garbage. TMNT on the Game Boy Advance, though, retains classic old-school gameplay while giving it all a beautifully animated coat of pixel paint. Number 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Radical Rescue. For Konami's third Game Boy release featuring our heroes in a half-shell, Konami dropped the beat-em-up formula for a more platforming-centric Metroidvania feel. And it worked. As Michelangelo, you must rescue April O'Neil and your brothers, each of who are able to perform a unique move needed to progress through the levels. It's pretty awesome, and if you ever get the chance, you should definitely play it for yourself. Number 4. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Hyperstone Heist. Take Turtles in Time and strip it of its actual time travel levels. Now extend the remaining levels and increase the difficulty. Oh, and add some sweet levels featuring Tatsu from the excellent 1990 TMNT film. Give it all a good shake and you've got yourself one heck of a turtle title exclusive to the Sega Genesis. The only area this release painfully pales to its SNES counterpart is in the audio department. Number 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo. Turtles in Time was released in the arcades as well as the Super Nintendo, but we're giving the SNES version a slight leg up. Sure, it only features 2-player action instead of 4-player, but the home port makes up for it by extending the fun with 2 all-new levels. It doesn't hurt that it looks, sounds, and plays so similar to the arcade as well, with great Mode 7 effects. Number 2. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. I know, blasphemy. How could the original NES TMNT game be better than Turtles in Time? Well, here's how. It's the Dark Souls of the TMNT video games, and unique among its sequels. It's not unfairly difficult, but it is challenging. It asks players to fully understand and use its mechanics properly. When and where to use each turtle, strategic sharing of pizza rations, which special weapons to pick up, and which to avoid. Not to mention the 3 forms of jumping. Auto jump for mini gaps, the standard mid jump, and a full-on ninjutsu high flip. All of these things need to be mastered if you hope to reach Shredder. Plus, each turtle's weapons have different stats, with Mikey's nunchucks being among the fastest but weakest, and Donnie's staff being on the other end of the scale with huge reach and awesome power. There's no hand-holding here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one of the best titles on the NES. Number 1. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Arcade Game. Giving Turtles in Time a great run for its money and just edging it out as the best TMNT multiplayer brawler, the original and excellent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Arcade Game remains in the top spot with some of the purest 4-player pixel punching action out there. The NES received a great 2-player port, but it's the arcade version that stole our hearts, and hundreds of quarters. With tight responsive gameplay, great levels ending in fun boss fights, and a ridiculous amount of nostalgia fuel, TMNT the arcade game dropkicks the competition.
Let's move it. I owe you one.